Hey guys, welcome back. Glenn with Old School Millennial, and today I'm going to be going over some of the things that I'm doing to get ready to sell firewood. Yesterday, one of our family friends came by. We were just going to be cutting up firewood, splitting, and I gave him a chance to try out my new wood splitter. But he told me some stories about whenever he was a kid, it was his job to fill up the wood box. And so he has done a ton of splitting by hand. So yesterday we did some splitting by hand so that he could kind of remember back whenever he was a kid, filling up that wood box. And then we did a little bit of splitting over with my Eastmade Ultra. But it was cool just to hear his story of splitting whenever he was a kid and just the memories that he had. He still had the splitting axe that his dad gave him, which I think was his granddad's splitting axe. But he had a lot of fond memories, and that's one thing about firewood. It's just a great experience. Whenever you have your family out, friends out, it's just something that you can kind of share with them. And for me, splitting firewood and cutting firewood is just a restoration of my soul. I enjoy it so much. It doesn't feel like a chore. So one of the first things that you want to do as you're selling firewood is doing a little market research. And for me, I live in Texas. It does not get near as cold as up north. But one thing here in Texas that we do a lot of is barbecuing. And so one thing that I'm going to do is work towards bundling firewood that I can both sell for barbecue firewood, like bundles, and sell as wood heating, and I'm just going to see how that goes. I may end up changing that strategy, but I'm trying to work on a solution to work towards selling firewood year round. And I think here in Texas we're serious about our barbecue, and I think that that's a good way, given the right type of wood, that I can work towards selling year round. So one of the first things that I'm going to be doing is checking the moisture on this firewood. So one rule of thumb that a lot of people go by is 20% moisture content and below. And so I'm going to check and make sure that the wood that I'm going to be bundling up and selling is under 20%. Thankfully, a lot of the wood that I cut down, it was standing dead timber, and I'll be able to sell some of that this year. A lot of the wood that I'm gathering this year obviously is for next year, but I'm just kind of testing the market this year, and then I'm going to be getting into selling more next year. I'm initially just going to get into selling bundled firewood, and then I'm going to work towards selling quarter cords, half cords, maybe face cords, and just go from there. Here in Texas, the amount of people that want to purchase a full cord of firewood are few in comparison to up north. So I'm trying to think about what my market more is here in Texas. I still, during the winter, will be able to sell plenty of firewood, but I want to have a solution to be able to sell firewood year round. And you might ask, why are you getting into firewood anyway? Well, if you've watched some of my other videos, you might get an idea. I just enjoy cutting wood. I enjoy splitting wood. So it's something that just I enjoy. And so I'm basically just selling a lot of the excess firewood that I gather up. This is just something that's just easy for me to do. It does not feel like any work. And cutting firewood for me is almost like a renewal of my soul. It just helps me to calm down and de-stress, take it easy, and just helps me relax. So first I'm gonna check the moisture on this firewood, and then I'm gonna get to bundling. So first off, this is the moisture meter that I'm gonna be using. This can be found on Amazon for a reasonable price. I can put a link down in the description if y'all are interested in this one. So I'm gonna use this to check my moisture. There's a lot of different moisture meters out there, but this is a good one. So first off, you just take this, grab you a piece of wood, press it down in there. As you can see, I'm getting about 17.5%, which is well within, so this firewood is ready to burn. But you kind of want to spot check different firewood just to make sure everything is about the same. So everything is seeming like it's in the 16-17% range. As long as it's under 20%, I should be able to bundle this stuff up and get it ready for sale. One thing to mention whenever you're looking at firewood, most of the time you need to be thinking about firewood 6-8 months in advance because it needs time for it to dry out. Most of the stuff that I'm splitting right now is stuff that I'm gonna be selling next season. This stuff was all standing dead timber, so I was able to dry it out a little bit faster. So these are the firewood bags I'm gonna be using to bundle up some firewood. In the future, I might wanna try to find a different method of bundling, but for me, this seemed like the easiest to get started. Thanks you guys for joining me today. For those of you that are new to firewood, there is a wealth of knowledge on YouTube. There are channels dedicated to solely firewood. A couple of them that come to mind, you have In the Woodyard, Ohio Wood Burner, Joe's Premium Firewood, you got Back 40 Firewood. Another one is Hometown Acres that he focuses a lot on firewood. A lot of these channels, that's kind of either one of the main things that they do or a part of their channel. And there's a wealth of knowledge out there. Just a shout out to some of those guys. If you're looking to get into firewood, I suggest checking out some of their stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.